Om Sarvadharma Sthapakatvam Sarvadharma Swarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishna Namaha. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. Namaste, Pranam. Sri Ramakrishna has come to the house of one Vaishnava devotee by name Khelat Ghosh. Khelat Ghosh's elder brother has invited Sri Ramakrishna and his disciples to their place in the company of other Vaishnava devotees who are also there in the gathering, who have assembled there to listen to the nectarine teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. And Vaishnavas normally they have a very narrow religious views. They don't appreciate the views of the followers of Vedanta. They don't appreciate views of followers of Shiva. They don't appreciate the views of the followers of Shakti. And they are not comfortable with other faiths. Now Sri Ramakrishna wanted to kind of bring about the unison between the different paths of the religious modes. And then Sri Ramakrishna started his teaching saying that it is not good to feel that one's own religion alone is true and all others are false. All others are not true. It is not good at all. Basically, all the religions are paths towards the same goal, towards the same ultimate truth. And then Sri Ramakrishna had given the example of the water of the lake. The lake has the same water. From one spot, some people drink it and they say, I am drinking pani. From another part of the lake, people drink the water and they say, I am drinking jol. From the third spot, people say, I am drinking water, so on and so forth. It goes on and on. The name of that reality keeps on changing. For Muslims, it is pani. For Hindus, it is jal. For Christians, it is water. And for the scientists and chemists, it will be H2O. Someone else may say it is aqua. It is not pani or water, but it is aqua. So the name keeps on varying. The ultimate reality remains the same. That is the teaching Sri Ramakrishna has given. The ultimate reality is nothing but Satchidananda, same Satchidananda. When Vedas talk about Satchidananda, they call it Brahman. When Puranas talk of Satchidananda, they call it Krishna or Rama. And when the Tantras call of Satchidananda, they will call it Shiva. The Shaktas, they will call it Shakti. So that way, the one same reality, same Satchidananda is referred to as the Brahman, as the Rama, as the Krishna, as the Shiva, as the Shakti. Reality is the same. And after listening this teaching of Sri Ramakrishna, all the devotees, Vaishnava devotees, they fell silent kind of. They were just amazed to listen to these words of Sri Ramakrishna, because normally they have a very narrow kind of a religious view. Then one Vaishnava devotee, he posed a question to Sri Ramakrishna. Sir, why should one think of God at all? Possibly he wanted to say that you are saying God is one but called by different names. That is fine. But why should one call God at all? Very intelligent question for that matter. Why should we call upon God? Why should we pray to God? Why not be the atheists? Why should we call God? Now Sri Ramakrishna's very intelligent answer to this. Sri Ramakrishna says that if a man really has that knowledge, then he is indeed liberated, though living in a body. If a man really possesses that knowledge, if a man has really got that knowledge of what? The knowledge of Brahman is pervading this entire creation. That is the ultimate Atma Jnana. That is the ultimate Brahma Jnana. That God exists within and without. The God which is in me is there in the each and every particle of this creation, every atom of this creation. Same God that is in me is everywhere else. The same God is manifesting through the entire, all the beings of this creation. If one gets that knowledge, then Sri Ramakrishna says that person is liberated within this living body. He need not call upon God. He need not even think upon God. He need not even pray to God, worry about God. Oh, is there God? No God. Just live your life as it is with that ultimate knowledge. That is what Sri Ramakrishna says. And then his next comment to that, Sri Ramakrishna says, not all by any means believe in God. It is not that all people believe in God. Some people are atheists. Some people are doubters. They doubt the existence of God itself. Not all by any means believe in God. They simply talk. Even those believers, those who believe in God may not be true believers. They simply talk of God. Look at the reality that Sri Ramakrishna is pointing out. You are talking about why should we call on God? I am saying people don't even think of God. They simply talk. People simply talk. The worldly minded have heard from someone that God exists and everything happens by His will, but it is not their inner belief. The people who are leading the worldly life, who are steeped in the worldliness, they have heard there is a God from somebody else. They have heard there is some God and that everything is happening by His will. This they have heard from somebody, and they also start repeating, oh, there is God. God, because of, with His will, this entire creation is moving around. But they don't have the inner belief on that. If they had inner belief, they would not have steeped into the worldliness. They would not have got trapped in this net of Mahamaya. In this trap of Mahamaya, they would not have got trapped. They would have been free souls. They would have been liberated souls living in this body. They would have attained to Brahmajnana. Do you know what a worldly man's idea of God is like? This is the question now Sri Ramakrishna has posed, and he is answering that question. What is worldly man's idea of God? It is like children swearing by God when they quarrel. Now here Sri Ramakrishna gives this very nice example. You know what is the worldly man's idea of God? Worldly man doesn't know anything about God, but worldly man talking about God is like children swearing by God when they quarrel. Now, if there is a group of children, they are playing, then there is some quarrel, and then they start quarreling in the God's name, swearing by God. And why they do it? They don't know anything about God. They don't know anything about what is swearing in also. But they have seen this process going on from the elders of their house. They have heard the word by listening to their elderly aunts quarreling. The elderly ladies in the house, when they quarrel, I quarrel with the swearing over God. I have not done this. No, you have done this. Like the quarrels of the ladies in the house, which goes on, elderly aunts, that goes on. Each and every aunt swearing on God. Now children have heard that. Children have noticed that, oh, our aunts use this word, I swear it by God. I'm swearing by God. So children also start using that term, I'm swearing by God, and they start quarreling with each other. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna says. This is the idea of God as far as the worldly people are concerned. They have heard it from somebody and they also follow the same thing. Oh, this God, this creation is created by God. And everything, this creation is happening by His will. They have not realized it. They don't even bother to realize it. They have heard it from somebody, and like parrots, they keep on repeating the same thing. But they don't have any inner belief. Is it possible for all to comprehend God? Not at all possible. Comprehending God is limited to very few sincere aspirants. Among all the hundreds and thousands of aspirants, only one or two may realize God. Only one or two may comprehend the greatness of God. Is it possible for all to comprehend God? God has created the good and the bad, the devoted and the impious, the faithful and the skeptical. For this reason, that people should be groping in the dark. People should be veiled by the veil of ignorance. God has created all these pairs of opposites, the good and the bad, the holy and the unholy, the pious and the impious, the faithful and the skeptical. The those who have faith in God, those who are skeptical about even the existence of God. God has created all these pairs of opposites. The wonders that we see all exist in His creation. In one place, there is more manifestation of His power, and in another, less. In one place, in the saints, in the great souls, in the Nitya and the Mukta Jivas, we see much greater manifestation of God. But in scoundrels, in the wretched people, in the evil people, we see very limited manifestation of God in those beings. God is there in every being, no doubt. But again, Sri Ramakrishna is coming to that point, the manifestation of God. And that's why we see all this variation, we see all this diversity among the beings in this world. Some are good, some are not good, some are holy, some are not holy, some are rich, some are not rich, some are pious, some are not pious. Some have faith, and most of the others, they don't have faith. They, like the children swearing by God, they keep on talking about God, but they have no inner belief, they have no inner faith. Then Sri Ramakrishna gives another example to explain this point, how the manifestation God is different in different beings. In one place there is more manifestation is power, in another less. The sun's light is better reflected by water than by earth. Now, when sun comes up, after coming up, sun's light is reflected by so many objects on this earth. Now, the surface of the earth is the poorest reflector of sun's light. Sun's rays, sun's light, it doesn't reflect to a great extent from the surface of the earth. But if it falls on water, from the water body, the sun's light is reflected to a much greater extent compared to the earth's surface. And there is another which reflects much more, even better than the water surface. Sun's light is better reflected by water than by earth, and still better by a mirror. If we keep a mirror under sun rays, that is the best reflector of the sunlight. The best reflection of sunlight we get from the mirror. Lesser quality from water and from earth's surface, we hardly get any reflection of the sunlight. In the same way, different people, you will find different manifestation of God's power. In Baddha Jivas, there is as good as nothing. It is there, but there is hardly any manifestation. In the strugglers, in the mumukshus, yes, we see some kind of manifestation, like the sunlight being reflected by water. The sunlight being reflected by the surface of the earth is like the Baddha Jivas, the bound souls. They don't have any reflection of divinity in them. They will all be doing wretched things, they will all be doing evil things, they will all be engrossed in lust and greed. They will all be towards the enjoyment of the sensual pleasures, of the materialistic pleasures. That is the Baddha Jivas who have very limited manifestation of divinity in them. Then come the mumukshus, the strugglers, the seekers of liberation. There we see some sparks. Yes, Now the sunlight starts getting reflected from water to some extent, to better extent. Then you come to the Mukta Jivas and the Nitya Jivas. You see abundant reflection of the sunlight, abundant reflection of divinity. So that is how Sri Ramakrishna has explained how different people, they have different manifestation of the God's power. Again, there are different levels of devotees of God. Not only the devotees and non-devotees, not only the Baddha Jivas, the Mumukshus, the Mukta and Nitya, even in Mumukshus, even in spiritual aspirants, you will see there are different categories. 3 categories: superior, mediocre, and inferior. And then Sri Ramakrishna says, all these things is explained in the Gita. How the mumukshus are of 3 different types: a superior devotee, a superior spiritual aspirant, a mediocre spiritual aspirant, and an inferior spiritual aspirant. So this is basically the introduction to the path of devotion that Sri Ramakrishna has told these Vaishnavas, that you don't just think your path is true, other paths are also true. All paths of devotion are true. And among all the devotees also, there are different kind of gradations. Like there is a gradation of people with no divinity, people with some divinity, and people with high quality of divinity. Even among people with high quality of divinity, expressing their devotional natures, there are 3 types, Sri Ramakrishna says: the superior devotion, the mediocre devotion, and the inferior devotion. So that is the starting teaching to the Vaishnavas by Sri Ramakrishna, to make them understand that all paths are true and all paths lead to the same ultimate reality. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.